So I wanted to either introduce you to or reintroduce you to Jared Hudson, Navy SEAL, Christian conservative. He has a nonprofit called Covenant Rescue, where he is in the battle. They combat human trafficking and child exploitation alongside law enforcement. And unfortunately, they are desperately needed. Jared Hudson joins us now. Welcome to Strange Encounters.
Hey, thanks for having me, brother.
So you hear some of the things I set up out of the headlines today. None of it surprises you?
No. I mean, it's and going to obviously the transgender piece, which we won't talk much about here with child exploitation. That is one of the things. You got people that want to say, hey, we need to take away guns because guns are the problem, why schools are getting shot up, why people are being killed. Look at the basketball game recently. That's the most recent one that I heard about. Well, you say that guns are a problem, but the gun is neutral in nature. The firearm, the weapon, it's neutral in nature, and it takes on the face of the person that embodies it. That's why law enforcement officers everywhere carry firearms, and they actually, for a very small percentage of the time, are used to kill somebody, regardless of what the media might put out. I mean, it's an unbelievably small percentage of the time that law enforcement get involved in shootings. But when they do, it is taking on the act of protecting, the face of protecting, versus the other side of it you see with this transgender dad or whatever that goes in and kills his kid, kills his wife, as he shoots his parents-in-law, right? And he's shooting up a basketball game.
Or a hockey game.
Or a hockey game, yeah. And he shoots them on, that's right, they were trying to get off the ice, and he's shooting them at that hockey game. It takes on, that firearm takes on the face of the person that embodies it. And so it's neutral in nature, but what is not neutral in nature is the individual, right? And that's important in Scripture. We're talking about spiritual warfare a little bit. Scripture lets us know that the person is the reason the problem exists. And what's God tell Cain in Genesis 4:6? He says, why are you downtrodden? Why is your face low, Cain? Don't you know if you do what is right, it'll be well with you? But if you don't, sin is lying in wait at your door, and its desire is for you, but you should rule over it. He was letting him know that in the power of God, God was talking to him like a granddaddy. He had the ability to control his flesh, his sin. That Paul talks about that, right? In the person of Christ, we have the ability to control our flesh, and we're called to, but oftentimes we choose not to do it. The firearm never does that, but the person does, and so that ideology is a piece of that. To get to that mindset, or if you're in that LGBTQ ideology, one of the things that we see on the child exploitation side is any of these individuals are unbelievably depraved. Romans talks about it, they claiming they're wise, they became fools. God gives them over to their own depravity. But all of that being said, it is like a slow burn. And I really believe, from what we've seen, this is anecdotal, this is just me with the operations we run, what I do in law enforcement with Covenant Rescue Group. It is a slow burn, or maybe even a fast burn, that deals with pornography and the access to pornography with things like our phones, TV, internet. We just have so much more access to it nowadays, and I think that is part of the reason we're seeing this trend.
You mentioned it. We've talked about it in past episodes, but it is amazing, but I guess not surprising, that the foundation. We've talked to people where demons were running all through their lives, in these homes, in these people's lives. And just about every time, and I bet you won't even be surprised by this, just about every time when they go, what was the portal that led all this into our lives? And they find sexual deviancy.
Oh, yeah.
And it usually starts with porn, where you begin to take a human being and devalue them into just something to be used for pleasure. And then a lot of these porn presentations involve degrading a human being for just your sexual desire. And they say that almost every time there's something that involves sexual depravity that brought this darkness into someone's world.
And it could be that person was also victimized when they were younger. Right. They were sexually abused, and I've seen that quite a bit, especially women being sexually abused when they're younger and being more able or willing to go down a path that, for for my wife, she's like, I don't even get how somebody could do this. What's the lady that sleeps with like thousands of dudes?
Goodness,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know that they recently claimed she was baptized and was coming out of it, and she's gone right back to it again. Sadly, from what I heard.
But that lady, and I can't remember, Bonnie something or another, but some big public thing. But anyway, and my wife's like, I don't even grasp that, well, it's because, there's a possibility. I'm not saying that there's a possibility that she experienced something when she was younger. And we see that a lot with what we do with human trafficking and child exploitation, is that children who are victimized, when they get to that point, they continue down that road. And it's only the grace of Christ that can totally remove that and pull them out of it. I've got a buddy who's actually about your age, Rick. And he was victimized in that way when he was younger, and he became a heroin addict. He left heroin. He forgave the guy who was actually related to him.
Wow.
That did all of those things to him. And he's a grown man. He talks about it. He said, I could only break the addiction of heroin. I could only break the hate that I had to that man who sexually abused me through the person of Jesus Christ. But he'll talk about how that is what drove him in a certain direction. So we do see that. But ultimately, you're going to have a choice at some point in time in your life. No matter how bad you think you've had it or how good you think you've had it, you're going to have a choice to choose sin or choose something other than sin. And it's harder to make that choice if you have regularly decided, hey, yeah, I want to look at this porn, I'm going to devalue this human. And then it goes from there, this is not good enough anymore. Or now my wife is not good enough anymore because I'm addicted to porn. And now my mind has been totally infiltrated with all this. My mama used to sing a song to us when we was little kids, and I never knew the importance of it until I'm now a man and seeing it. Be careful, little eyes, what you see.
Yeah.
Oh, be careful, little ears, what you hear. Be careful, little hands, what you do. Little mind, what you think. For the Father up above is looking down with love. And it's telling you to be careful what you bring in. Be in the world, but not of the world. Yeah. And that's where the depravity comes in.